The Christmas dinner table at my parents' house gleamed with the same polished perfection as my sister Amanda's corporate success story. Crystal glasses caught the light from expensive candles while she held court, detailing her latest triumph at Sterling Industries. Youngest vice president in company history, she announced, practically glowing with self-importance. The board says I'm on track for CEO by next year. Our mother beamed with practiced pride while our father topped off Amanda's wine glass. No one bothered to offer me any. The unemployed daughter didn't deserve the good vintage, apparently. And what about you, Sarah? Amanda turned to me with fake concern dripping from her voice. Finally got fired from that tech startup, didn't you? What was it called again? Something insignificant. I took a small sip of water, thinking about the documents sitting in my hotel room. The ones that would show exactly how insignificant Nova Technologies had been significant enough for Sterling Industries to acquire it in a desperate bid to save themselves from technological obsolescence. Of course, they didn't know I was the anonymous founder and CEO who'd orchestrated the whole thing. These things happen, I replied quietly, pushing food around my plate. They happen to people who aren't good enough, Amanda corrected with a smirk. But don't worry, I might be able to find you something entry-level at Sterling. Filing maybe? Though you'd have to interview like everyone else. Can't have people thinking I show favoritism to family. If she only knew that I'd spent the last 5 years building Nova Technologies into a powerhouse while maintaining complete anonymity. That tomorrow's board meeting would reveal that Sterling's saving grace acquisition had a surprising twist. The mysterious tech CEO they'd been negotiating with was actually taking control of their company. That's very kind, I murmured, remembering all the times Amanda had helped me by highlighting my failures to anyone who would listen. It's what successful sisters do, she preened. We can't all be corporate stars, but at least I can throw you a lifeline. Our mother nodded approvingly. Amanda's always been the business-minded one. Remember when Sarah tried to start that little computer club in high school? Thank goodness she has a sister who understands the real corporate world. That little computer club had actually been my first successful venture, designing software for local businesses. By graduation I was making more than our father, but I'd learned early to keep my success quiet. Amanda couldn't stand anyone else getting attention. Speaking of business, Amanda straightened importantly, Sterling's acquiring some tiny tech company next week. The board thinks it'll help modernize our operations. Though personally I think tech is overrated. Real business is about connections, influence, power. I suppressed a smile thinking about Sterling's tiny acquisition. Nova Technologies' revolutionary AI platform was worth more than Sterling's entire market cap, but their board was too desperate to question why we'd accepted such a low purchase price. They'd find out tomorrow that the price came with strings, specifically, a complete takeover of their executive structure. Tell us more about your promotion, dear, our father encouraged while pointedly ignoring my presence. The country club is buzzing about Sterling's youngest VP. Amanda launched into another self-congratulatory speech about her meteoric rise, never suspecting that her career was about to take a very different trajectory. I checked my phone discreetly, confirming tomorrow's schedule. 9 a.m. board meeting, 10 a.m. executive restructuring announcement, 11 a.m. performance reviews. Sarah, put your phone away, our mother scolded. It's not like you have any important business calls to take. Sorry, I said softly, tucking away the device that had just confirmed the transfer of $2 billion in company assets. Probably just playing games, Amanda snickered. Though I suppose she needs something to do now that she's unemployed. Again. The dinner continued its predictable pattern, Amanda broadcasting her success, our parents basking in her reflected glory, and me sitting quietly, letting them believe what they wanted about my career failures. None of them had any idea that tomorrow, everything would change. I'm thinking of buying a summer house in the Hamptons, Amanda announced over dessert. The Sterling executive package is quite generous. Though Sarah, if you need a place to stay while you're job hunting, I might let you use the guest house. The small one by the pool house. I thought about my penthouse overlooking Central Park, and the villa in Monaco I'd bought last month. That's thoughtful of you. Well, she smiled condescendingly, someone has to look out for the family failure. As if on cue my phone buzzed again. A message from my assistant. All preparations complete for tomorrow. Board members have been briefed. Security is ready. More game notifications? Amanda smirked. Something like that, I replied, thinking about how tomorrow's notifications would look very different. The rest of Christmas dinner played out like a well-rehearsed play. Amanda the star, our parents the adoring audience, and me the convenient prop they could use to highlight her success. None of them noticed my occasional small smile, or the quiet confidence behind my seemingly submissive responses. They had no idea that in less than 12 hours, their perfectly ordered world would be completely upended. Sometimes the best revenge isn't arguing with those who underestimate you. It's waiting for the perfect moment to show them exactly how wrong they were. And tomorrow would be that moment. I arrived at Sterling Industries headquarters at 8 a.m., passing through security with an executive access badge that made the guards do a double take. My Armani suit, no longer hidden under casual startup wear, drew surprised glances from early arriving employees who were used to seeing their VP Amanda's unemployed sister in much less impressive attire. Miss Thompson. A nervous-looking assistant approached. The board is assembling in the main conference room. Miss Sterling asked me to remind you that it's executives only. I'm aware, I replied, enjoying the irony. Amanda had always lorded her executive status over me. Please inform the board that Nova Technologies CEO will be joining them shortly. The assistant's eyes widened. Everyone had been speculating about the mysterious tech CEO who'd managed to keep their identity secret throughout the acquisition negotiations. At 8:55, I stood outside the conference room, listening to Amanda's voice carry through the door. The tech CEO probably won't even show up, she was saying. These startup types are so unprofessional. Not like real corporate leaders. Actually, board chairman Richard Maxwell interrupted, I've just received confirmation that Nova's CEO is here. I checked my reflection in the polished wall, straightened my jacket and opened the door. The silence was immediate and absolute. Amanda, halfway through what was undoubtedly another self-promotional speech, froze mid-gesture. Our father, present as a major shareholder, dropped his coffee cup. Good morning, I said calmly, walking to the head of the table. Shall we begin? Sarah. Amanda's voice cracked. What are you doing here? This is a private meeting. Yes, it is, I agreed, placing my laptop on the table. A meeting between Sterling Industries board and Nova Technologies CEO. I paused, letting it sink in. That would be me. The room erupted in confused murmurs. Chairman Maxwell cleared his throat. Ms. Thompson, I've been negotiating with Nova's CEO personally for months. Through encrypted video calls and anonymous email channels, yes, I confirmed, pulling up the acquisition documents. A necessary precaution, given Sterling's reputation for hostile takeovers of tech companies. This is ridiculous. Amanda stood up, her perfect composure cracking. My sister can barely operate a smartphone. She's not a CEO of anything. I projected Nova's financial statements onto the wall screen. 5 years of revolutionary AI development. 300 patents. $2 billion in liquid assets. And a market valuation 3 times that of Sterling Industries. I turned to Amanda. Is that real enough business for you? Our father found his voice. But, you were fired. No, I corrected him. I stepped down as CTO of my previous startup after selling it for $100 million. Money I used to fund Nova Technologies, though you were all too busy celebrating Amanda's junior management promotions to notice. Chairman Maxwell was studying the documents intently. These numbers, they're real. But why accept such a low purchase price? Because, I smiled, pulling up the final contract, the price came with conditions. Specifically, a complete restructuring of Sterling's executive team, effective immediately. Amanda's face went from red to white. You can't. Actually, I can. The board approved the merger last week. They just didn't know who they were merging with. I turned to the board members. Your technology infrastructure is a decade behind. Your market share is dropping. You needed Nova's AI platform to survive, and I named my price, complete control. This is a trick, Amanda sputtered. A joke. Like the jokes you made about my career? About my capabilities? About my potential? I pulled up another document. Speaking of which, let's discuss your performance reviews. The board sat in stunned silence as I outlined years of Amanda's inflated successes. Projects that had actually lost money, initiatives that had failed, promotions gained through politics rather than performance. As Sterling's new CEO, I continued, my first act will be a complete audit of all executive positions. Performance will be evaluated based on actual results, not family connections or corporate politics. Amanda's perfect world was crumbling. Our father looked like he might faint. Chairman Maxwell was already extending his hand to congratulate me, a shrewd businessman recognizing a superior player. Security will help you clear out your office, I told Amanda. Though you're welcome to apply for a more suitable position, perhaps in filing? The next hour was chaos, but I remained calm, signing documents and issuing directives while my sister's carefully constructed facade fell apart. Sometimes revenge isn't about destroying someone. It's about showing them exactly who they underestimated. And I was just getting started. The aftermath of the board meeting rippled through Sterling Industries like a corporate earthquake. Amanda, stripped of her executive title, refused to leave her office until security arrived. The sight of my formerly powerful sister being escorted out, carrying her designer handbag and family photos, drew a crowd of not-so-secretly delighted employees who had suffered under her leadership. "This isn't over," she hissed as she passed me in the lobby. "Daddy will fix this." "Actually," I replied, checking my watch, "he's currently meeting with our legal team, reviewing how his blind support of you cost shareholders millions. The board is particularly interested in those projects you claimed were successes." The next few weeks transformed Sterling Industries. I moved my office to the top floor, not out of ego but because it had the best setup for the AI integration systems I'd developed. Amanda's former office became a collaborative tech space where engineers and developers could work freely, without the hierarchy she'd enforced. Our mother tried emotional manipulation first. She arrived unannounced, dressed for sympathy in subtle designer grief. "How could you humiliate your sister like this?" she demanded, settling uninvited into one of my office chairs. "We always knew you were jealous of her success, but this." I pulled up Amanda's real performance metrics on my tablet. "You mean the success that cost Sterling $30 million in failed initiatives? The success that dropped our market share by 15%? That's success." She was the youngest VP in company history. "And now I'm the youngest CEO in the industry," I replied calmly. "Funny how you're not celebrating that achievement." Our father tried a different approach, arriving with his lawyer and threats of shareholder action. "You think you can just walk in and take over?" he blustered. "I've been a major shareholder for 20 years. 15% ownership," I corrected, pulling up the shareholding structure. "While Nova Technologies, through various shell companies, now controls 51%. Would you like to discuss your voting power?" The lawyer, after reviewing my documentation, quietly advised our father to leave. Amanda's attempts at revenge were both predictable and ineffective. She tried to leak damaging information to the press, only to discover that my reputation was built on actual achievements, not corporate politics. She attempted to rally other executives against me, only to find they respected results more than family drama. 3 months after the takeover, Sterling Industries' stock had doubled. Our AI integration revolutionized the industry, and the same business publications that had once praised Amanda's meteoric rise now ran features about the secret tech genius who'd orchestrated the perfect corporate takeover. "Sarah." My assistant's voice interrupted my thoughts. "Your sister is here again. She says it's about the family Christmas dinner." I smiled, remembering last year's holiday disaster. "Send her in." Amanda entered, her designer outfit slightly less pristine, her confidence noticeably dented. "Mother wants to know if you're coming to Christmas dinner this year." "I am," I confirmed. "As the host. I've bought the family estate. The papers were finalized this morning." She sank into a chair. "You bought our house. The house you bragged about growing up in? The one you said I'd never be successful enough to live in?" "Yes. Though I'm thinking of turning it into a tech incubator for underprivileged students. Give some other underestimated people a chance to succeed." "Why are you doing this?" she whispered. "We're family." "Family." I pulled up a recording from last Christmas. Her voice filled the office. "Finally got fired? What was it called again?" "Something insignificant." "That was different," she protested. "I was just being the successful sister." I finished. "The corporate star? the one who understood real business. She left without another word, finally understanding that her world had changed permanently. That evening I stood in my office watching the city lights come on. My phone buzzed with a message from our mother. "Please, let's discuss Christmas dinner as a family." I typed back, "Of course." The new owner of the family estate would be happy to host. Business attire required. 6 months after taking control of Sterling Industries, I hosted a charity gala in the building's grand atrium. The guest list included tech innovators, industry leaders, and yes, my family. Amanda arrived in last year's designer dress, our parents looking uncomfortable in their formal wear. I gave a speech about underestimated potential, about quiet success, about the difference between appearing successful and actually achieving something. My family stood in the crowd, finally seeing me for who I really was. Not the failure they'd mocked, but the success they'd never bothered to notice. Later that night, alone in my office, I looked at an old family photo from last Christmas. Amanda at the center, radiating smug superiority. Our parents gazing adoringly at their corporate star. And me in the background, quietly building an empire while they celebrated their imaginary success story. I placed the photo in my desk drawer, a reminder not of what I'd lost but of what I'd proven. Success isn't about who shouts the loudest or brags the most. Sometimes it's about who works the smartest, stays the quietest, and waits for the perfect moment to reveal their true power. My phone buzzed one last time. A message from Amanda. "Can we talk?" About my future at Sterling. I smiled and typed back, "Of course. Performance reviews are next week. Don't be late." Because sometimes the best revenge isn't just becoming the boss. It's being a better boss than they ever were. And I was just getting started.